What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be going over my quarterback philosophy. So we're going to be talking about everything that we teach our quarterbacks, from the feet all the way up to your head, your arm mechanics, everything that can make you an elite QB, and truly what we believe and teach. So I hope this video is able to help you out. Let's get started. So guys, we're going to break this video up into two specific parts. So we're going to talk about the lower body mechanics first, and then we're going to be talking about the upper body mechanics and hip mechanics. So what do we teach our quarterbacks from a philosophy standpoint about our base and about our feet? So first things first, we teach you want to be in like a 60 to 70% of your body weight loaded onto your back leg in your base. Some quarterback coaches teach 50-50. We've seen a lot more success with guys, because we've played with it before, we've seen a lot more success with guys when they have about 60 to 70% of weight on their back foot and they're nice and light on this front foot. You should be able to pick your front foot up and put it down nice and light. Now, when I say that, a lot of quarterbacks take it very, very serious. They think that they got to squat into this back leg and their knee gets past their toe. You can't really rotate like that, you guys, and your hip rotation and core rotation is one of the most important things you could have as a quarterback, and we'll get to that. But from a base perspective, you don't want to sit, you want to shift. I tell guys and tell them to be stacked. You want your head, your knee, and your foot stacked on top of each other like a really tall building. I call it a skyscraper, nice and light on your front foot. So we could take that weight and transfer it to the front foot. But that also ties into our upper body and shoulder mechanics, the weight being on the back leg, because our philosophy is every quarterback is built from the ground up. But we'll get to that in a second. But we want about 60 to 70% of our weight back here, nice and stacked. Our shin angle should try to be straight. Now, after that, we obviously believe in taking a short stride. You want your feet to be, for the most part, underneath your armpits, and we don't want this long baseball stride. Obviously, we want a short stride. Your stride length should probably be about 6 to 8 inches long. Generally, that's based on obviously your height, but that's how quick we want the football to get down, or I guess say your front foot to get down, is that's how quick the football comes through. The quicker the front stride, the quicker the release. If you're a guy who has a slow release, you probably have a long stride. So we teach 60 to 70% of your weight back, light on that front foot, and we're taking a short stride. Now, we're gonna get into the upper body mechanics portion of the throw. Now, fellas, before we get into the rest of our quarterback philosophy, if you're a QB or even a wide receiver watching this video and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches, we're gonna be traveling out to 7 more cities across the entire country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. So guys, go to that very first link in the description below if you would like to sign up. Next up on our camp tour, we'll be coming out to Newark, New Jersey. Then we'll be heading out to Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off the tour in Los Angeles, California. So guys, want some more information, want to sign up, go to that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you there. The camps are 2 full days, and we actually take the time to work with each athlete and develop them, give them one-on-one coaching specifically. I think a lot of camps, they just try to run guys through as fast as they can. There's no real focus on the details of the quarterback and wide receiver position. We do the exact opposite. We work with each athlete. You will get one-on-one time with myself and my staff, and we'll explain to you areas of your game where you need to improve and give you things that you could do to improve in those areas. So fellas, we'd love to have you there. Very first link in that description below. All right, so let's talk about the upper body mechanics, fellas, and the hip mechanics of the quarterback position. So let's recap the lower body that we talked about. We want about 60 to 70% of my weight on my back leg, nice and light on my front foot, and we want to take a short stride. So we're firm believers when it comes to like the backstroke and how QBs throw the ball and how their arm works. Everybody's different. I think a lot of quarterback coaches, I should say, spend so much time on like getting a perfect L, like perfect 90 to 90, and then throwing and being really focused on being over the top. Some guys are focused on sidearm. I just kind of let quarterbacks do their thing when it comes to that, unless it's like a major problem, unless it's like guys lifting directly over the top or dropping the ball super low. I try to avoid all that. What we want to focus on is we want to focus on a concept called upper body and lower body dissociation. That is like, I guess you could say, the pinnacle of quarterback throwing mechanics and quarterback throwing efficiency. Because when you look at we compare quarterbacks, or I guess you could say like quarterback talent, to the best guys in the world, and that's the NFL. So the 32 best guys, all 32 NFL starters, they all have different throwing motions. Nobody has the exact same throwing motion. So if you focus on like, okay, what do they do here? What do they do here? That's not what you should be focusing on, guys. You should be focusing on what all 32 best have in common. And what they have in common is upper body and lower body dissociation, aka rotational throwing. So let's talk about what that means. So again, you're in your base, you got your weight on your back leg. The key is to think of a throw as a quarterback like a baseball swing. If I'm swinging a baseball, baseball bat. I'm gonna be 60 to 70% on my back leg. Watch any MLB hitter, and they all do this, and watch any NFL quarterback. They all have this same kinetic sequence or kinetic chain of events in their throw in common. Obviously, it happens very fast. We're slowing things down and trying to explain it so you understand. But a baseball hitter is back in their base. They're stacked. They have the baseball bat back here. They step to the pitcher, but they keep weight on their back leg because that allows them to dissociate, right? They don't shift all this weight to their front foot and swing all arm. What they do is they step, they stay back and have their hips fire through and the bat swings through. And that's what has that thing take off the bat, called AKA bat speed, and that produces something called torque. Upper body and lower body separation creates torque. As a QB, we want to do the same thing. So that's why I was saying you want to have 60 to 70% of your weight on your back leg, because that allows you to rotate into your back leg. If you're a 50-50 and you take a step and 60% goes to your front foot, it's hard for us to rotate my shoulders back. So that hip, my knee, my foot all kind of trail behind me, and it's more of an arm throw, which can decrease velocity, decrease power, and put more pressure on your arm. So what we want to do, guys, is we want to have my 60-70% base, want to be nice and relaxed with the ball in the middle of my chest, and you want just any type of backstroke. You could be more so here, you could be a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, somewhere in this general vicinity. But when you strike, you want to maintain weight on your back leg. I say you want to keep your shins straight when the front foot gets down. Front foot gets down, I want to slightly rotate my shoulder back, go to my backstroke. This is dissociation. So now guess what happens? You start to rotate through with your hips, so AKA pivoting off of your big toe, dragging your back foot, however you guys want to think of it, and that hip fires before the shoulder, before the ball, creating that whipping effect, and that is how you take pressure off your arm, but also increase velocity on your throws. So upper body mechanics, I'm not too picky, you guys. I just want your shoulder to rotate back as you step, maintain weight on your back leg as you rotate back, and then we rotate through and finish. Now, what about the front side? Because that involves your upper body. I teach quarterbacks two things. Keep your shoulders and your hips parallel to where you want the ball to go, and keep your front hand up by your face like you're eating a sandwich. So if I'm throwing to the camera right now, I take a step, shoulders rotate back, hips fire through before the shoulders. When I finish on the throw, I want to be here. Because when you keep this hand up by your face, your release point's here. When you drop your hand, your release point gets overly high. Now I tell guys to stay parallel with their shoulders and hips to where they want to throw it, because a lot of guys rotate, but they also rotate their shoulder and they over rotate. And when your shoulder's going that way, your release goes the opposite. So we want to stay square to keep it inside my frame, hand by my face to not make my release super high. Then I just snap my wrist and extend through. Those are the areas we try to focus on with our quarterbacks. We don't change how you throw the ball. We don't change or try not to how you hold the football. We focus on those key elements, because those key elements is what all top 32 NFL players have in common.